Alright, welcome back to episode 5 of the F1 2010 career mode. This is the 5th round in Barcelona, here at the circuit, the Barcelona Catalunya. And this is a pretty strong track for the AI, like I said in previous episodes.
Sebastian's car has had some new parts fitted. You should have them within the next few races.
So Sebastian has received a couple of upgrades. Of course, he is still the first driver in this team, so he does get the upgrades before we do, unfortunately, even though we've been performing much better than Sebastian. Anyway, of course, he is the more experienced driver in the team. We're just a rookie. Practice 1, we are once again just building up the pace. We started off with a 128, we've now improved that to a 127, and we now improve it to a 126. Apparently we're losing time in Sector 2. But yeah, this is a pretty OP track for the AI, as everyone who has played this game will know. Anyway, I actually went for a pretty conservative setup. I didn't really go too far off the default setup, just to keep everything a little bit stable. I did optimize it for, corner speed, especially through the fast corners.
Guys, let's get these changes made ASAP.
Thank you very much, Rob. Let's get these changes made ASAP. It's very much a Rob thing to say, isn't it? Anyway, I don't know what I'm all about. It's just funny the way Rob talks sometimes, isn't it? But yeah, a little bit later on in this session, we are in P22, so we've dropped quite a few positions. And we're now following Bruno Senna. And I'm just showing you this lap here, because you'll be able to see that I'm even struggling to keep up with an HRT, which is a little bit alarming, isn't it? Because, I wasn't even driving that badly, I'm hitting my apexes, I'm carrying the speed through the corners, and still, you can just see how much Senna is just pulling away from him. I can't even keep up with an HRT, even though I'm not really making any major mistakes. Again, we're going on about Sector 2. We do improve to 1 minute 25.
We've got to raise our game for the next session.
And indeed, we have got to raise our game.
The end of the practice session. We're finished well down the field.
So, we did do a 125, but still, we're in P18, even though I was actually really pushing. Anyway, qualifying, we started with a 127. That was a very scruffy lap. So, I decided to go again for a second lap here. I think this was straight after the first one. Already improved by a 10 here in Sector 1. Adrian Suto also got out of the way there in time. And currently still in P4 behind the two McLarens, but of course it's still very early on in the session. We do improve to a 1 minute 24. And I will certainly try to push for a higher place, but at least we have done the first 1 minute 24 of the weekend. So about a second faster than we did in practice, but still we are behind Robert Kubica, just in front of Nico Rosberg. And I decided to push on for this third lap. We have got somebody in front of us there, hopefully pull out of the way. We are improving by 48 thousandths of a second in Sector 1. And I actually lose the back end there on the exit of turn 5. This time I did actually lock the brakes and keep the wheel straight. I learned from my mistake, or the multiple mistakes I made in China. Anyway, despite that mistake, I actually still improved to a 123.3. So that's actually pretty good. That was actually a really good lap time. 2 seconds faster than what we did in practice.
You've hit all of the targets set for you this session.
And that is good enough for P7.
That's the end of qualifying. You're in 7th place on the grid tomorrow.
So that's actually pretty surprising that we're all the way up into P7 despite our difficult practice session. We're only 8 tenths away from pole position. So it's actually looking pretty good. Maybe we do have some pace in Barcelona. Anyway, we move on to the race now. Sebastian is in P18, once again not doing much for the team. But starting in P7, maybe we've even got a chance to score points here. So anyway, the lights are coming on. And we're away for round 5 of the season here for 13 laps at the Circuit de Barcelona here in Montmeló. Getting off to a pretty decent start, to be fair. We put the arrow up into the plus position to aid us in the first sector. We find a gap there in the middle and move up into 6th place behind Button and Alonso. And we've made a pretty good start to this race. So We've got Mark Webber there on the inside, requires a bit more speed for the corner in that Red Bull car, which is of course far superior to the Toro Rosso. But despite that, we actually do outbrake him on the outside as we actually lose the back end again. Locking the brakes, keeping the wheel straight. That's the way to save the car to get into a slalom in this game. I definitely learned my lesson in China, where I just made that mistake way too many times as we now come into the first chicane. For the first time, I actually lose the back on the braking. I tried to correct it and now go into the gravel trap. And this is the start that we did not need. We're all the way down in P17 as I get tangled up with Nico Rosberg there a little bit. Oh, but that's so annoying because we did all the work in qualifying, we made a good start, and now we have undone all of that work. And we've dropped back down to P16 behind Pedro de la Rosa as we actually hit him in the back there. And actually he touches us and loses his front wing, or at least his end plate. That was a bit awkward there in turn 1. Fortunately, I actually got away with that without any damage or a penalty. F2010 can be ruthless in terms of penalties, by the way. Anyway, skipping to lap 2, we actually get up the inside of Sutil there. I went on the outside originally because he had a really bad exit, which turned to the inside for turn 11, I think it is. Onto lap 3, behind Heikki Kovalainen in the Lotus. This time we actually outbrake him and do it cleanly. Into turn 1, he tries to hold it on the outside, actually does so as I lose the back end again. Which made me lose a position to Adrian Sutil again. So yeah, the mistakes are creeping in once again, and we just can't afford to do this because we don't have the pace. We gotta stay mistake free as we actually outbrake Sutil there on the outside of turn 10, and again it turns us to the inside for turn 11. So back up into P14. We still have this group which extends until P11 within reach, but unfortunately the top 10 is pretty far away as I bottle the chicane there.
Stay with him. He might make a mistake and we can regain the place.
Yeah, he might make a mistake, but I think the chance of me making a mistake is probably higher. The pit window is already open at the end of the 4th lap, so we are looking to make a stop pretty soon as we put the aero back up into the higher position. As again, big moment there on the exit of turn 2, and Pedro de la Rosa finds a way past into turn 3. So yeah, again I'm kind of falling into the same habits as what I was doing in Barcelona. Anyway, no, sorry, in China. We're in Barcelona now. Lap 6, I actually stretched my pit window by 2 laps to try and do the overcut. Because I just feel like the options are... Yeah, I just bottled the pit entry as well. I carried too much speed and I pushed away my my lollipop man. So that even cost me more time. I had an 8.1 second pit stop because of that. So yeah, I stretched my softs pretty long, but that was probably a mistake because I was just losing a lot of time, it seems like. Because we have now dropped down to P23, just in front of Lucas Grassi. So this race is going like I was probably expecting it to go at the start of the weekend, but after qualifying I had pretty good hopes as again I get on the power too much there, where you have there's a really annoying bump in between turn 10 and 11 there, and you just can't. You have to actually lift off when you go over it, because otherwise that happens. So we are now officially in last place. As actually Di Grassi now bottles it into the chicane. So yeah, I'm not the only one making mistakes, at least. So that's the only reason as to why I'm actually not in last. But yeah, this race has been pretty much ruined because of all of those mistakes. We do now overtake Kamui Kobayashi on the outside as he rejoins the track. We just cut across his nose there. But yeah, I mean, after qualifying, I was kind of hoping that this race was going to go alright. But yeah, it is really going from bad to worse, isn't it? But then again, I was kind of expecting this because I knew that I was going to be strong around there. As again, I just can't get on my power to the exit of turn 4. And Kobayashi gets past us again, so we have dropped to P3. There's absolutely no hope. Yeah, the car doesn't seem very competitive indeed. Yellow flags. Yo, look at that Kobayashi. I almost lose it, and Timo Glock has lost it as well. So we have now gained 2 positions. So it looks like everybody's struggling. So yeah, that is the only thing that's kind of keeping me in this race. As we just avoided Kobayashi and Glock. That was actually pretty scary. I mean, of course I saw the yellow flags, but I didn't expect to just fly past 2 cars that were in the gravel trap. But yeah, it just, I mean, of course I did make a lot of mistakes during this race, but even if I wouldn't have, it seems like the pace in the race is just absolutely nowhere I was 18th in practice, and also now in the race I'm just completely drowning, which is partially down to my mistakes, but not completely, because even now I am struggling to catch up to an HRT. So we now got to the last lap. Lewis Hamilton has won the race, and we did manage to close the gap to Chandler, but I really had to push for it to even close the gap to the HRT. But anyway, I guess we have a little bit of pride to save here. I really want to finish better than HRT. I really hope there's not an HRT in front of Chandler, because that would be pretty embarrassing. Anyway, up the inside of the turn 10 of Chandler, we do break later than him, and we get past on the Indian driver up to P19, and that is as far as we're going to get in this race, as Adrian Suter is quite a few seconds up the road. So coming through the final chicane for the final time, I almost lose the back end again, but we managed to keep it together. Coming out of the final corner, it's a very disappointing P19 finish. And it's P18 actually, because somehow we magically gained one position. So I'll take it.
That's not the best result for us. At least we got to the end of the race. See you in the garage.
Yeah, so 60 seconds behind after 13 laps. That just shows how slow we were. But yeah, somehow we actually gained the position. I don't know why, because nobody seemed to have had a penalty. So yeah, somehow the game gave me one free position, which is nice, but unfortunately doesn't really matter that much, does it? But yeah, this was Barcelona. But we need to do better. Next round is going to be Monaco, which does probably have a lot more potential to give us a good result, because Monaco is, of course, a track where the player can make the difference. But anyway, I'm really sorry for this result. We've had a couple of tough races now. I mean, China was completely my fault, and Barcelona was kind of expected, because I just knew that we were going to struggle here. Let's hope to turn around in Monaco. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.